Yeah. Emily was on.
Who?
Emily.
Well, it says we're live, but I don't know how to get to where the stream's at.
And we're back. Oh no. You just go back where you go live.
You need to go to your channel. Click on that again.
Okay, I've got the...
No. Go back to your channel. Click on the one up that says live now.
I did.
I don't know if it's playing on this one. We're live. And we're picking back and forth on what you need to click.
Well, I have the husband saying, click this, click that, and I'm going, I am. So he says we're live. Well, I don't need to watch it. Y'all are not talking anyway, so. Yeah, Emily, if you're still there, you're not talking. So I just kept making stuff as he was trying to figure it out.
And we're going to have to redo the video for the kid.
So, sorry about that. The laptop's been giving us a little bit of fits. We're going to take it out back and shoot it. No, we can't. We live in town. But you know what I mean? Sometimes, modern technology is a wonderful thing. I can sit here and I can talk to this little itty bitty box and it goes like all over the world. Oh, it can.
But the laptop's only like not even a year old.
But sometimes it's just not meant to be. One of my other lives, the battery went dead. We've never had to plug it in before at all. All of a sudden now we gotta plug it in, so we don't know if the battery's going bad or what. We'll get her figured out. So I just went ahead and made a couple more ties as we was going around. Making our bundles. So this one is the last one for the top. So always make sure that you give it, I at least give it 3 good twists. If you have a work wreath form, those wires are like really strong. You can't like bend them over as much like this. You can cut them off. They're real fuzzy on the ends. A lot of people don't cut them off. They just make them part of their wreath. Totally up to you. My personal preferences, I don't like that. But like I said, you do you. That's what my husband says. You do you. He always says, you're going to do what you want anyway, so. I usually do. Sometimes. Okay. So here we go. Are we still on 2 cameras? Okay. So this is all of our outside. Looking pretty good. Now we're going to go to the inside. Now when you go to the inside, your ties are about 4 inches apart. Sometimes your inside and your outside tie will be pretty close to each other. Whatever you're going to start with, whether it be red or gray, kind of, so gray will be this one. Kind of make it be right beside the opposite. If that makes sense.
Oh, Angela's here.
Hi, Angela. So now we're going down into the inside. So what I was talking about, I have the red on top. So I do not want to go, here's our 2 red on tops. So I want to go in the middle. So you want to be next to the other ribbon, the Merry Christmas and the gray ribbon. And you want to choose the tie. And of course the ties are right by those 2. So it's a crapshoot where you start. And it won't look bad, trust me.
Angela said sorry, she's late. She was in a meeting.
In a meeting? I suppose you're excused. That's okay, you just missed our happy accident. So what we're going to do here is, remember how we put all of our ribbons towards the outside of the wreath so you can see them? On the inside, you're going to take your red and take this red and you're going to make them opposite. And this one's opposite, and you're going to make tulips. And you're going to make a tulip here, and you're going to make a tulip there. See? Make tulips. I need a drink.
Sounds like something happened to the audio when we went down. Come back up.
I could hear it.
You're not supposed to be able to hear it.
Oh.
I unplugged my earbuds.
Okay. So that was red on top, red on bottom.
Okay, we're good.
You know what it's like to sit here and listen to yourself like 2 seconds after what you said it? My husband took his earbuds out. Okay, here's my other hand. I just put little stickers on my Bodabra Jeanette's third hand. I can glitterify it. That's it. No, it'd get all over everything. If I could use glitter on every project I could, I would. Okay, so we are going red. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Can you believe it is almost Christmas? By now I've started picking up a few things here and there. But I'm not buying like I bought my grandkids last year. Oh, you couldn't even walk in the living room. We had to actually have everybody go out of the living room. I took all the adult children's Christmas presents out. And then we always have the kids sit in a big circle. We have 8 grandchildren, by the way. And 8 kids between us. And then this year, the adults couldn't even sit in the living room. They had to sit outside. Not outside, but like they had to sit in the dining room. It was bad. Grandma went a little above. So, just make our tulips. You can sing or not. I just love red and black.
Well, I was busy doing something else. Angela's, your comment about her going to a meeting was, "I'm so fancy, I know, LOL." And then she just said, "Glitter makes Jeanette's world go round."
Yes, it does. Oh, girlfriend, you missed out on the prime time what the next bow's going to be, or the next kit. I don't know if I should show you or not since you're late. It is pretty. I even remade the bow. The bow was a little wonky. So I remade it right before we went live. And it is pretty. Should we show her?
That's up to you. I don't care.
I can't see the screen. Anybody answer? Should we?
Angela goes, says you should show me.
Does anybody else think that we should show Angela a little bit of glimmer of what the next kit might look like? Since she was late to a meeting. Should we show her? I suppose I should be nice. Oh, it's sitting right here. And you will only be able to get that sign with a pixie kit. I'm going to do a pixie kit. See how much glitter's on there? See? But I'm not showing you the wreath yet. I made a wreath. Oh, wait a minute. I might have showed you the wreath. Didn't I show you the wreath? Oh, I did it. She's got a sneak peek. But I redid the bow. Yeah. But here's the new sign. Yay! She did already see it. Well, kind of. So a pixie wreath is an 8-inch ring. It only has 10 ties. That's it. 5 on the outside, 5 on the inside. But it makes a really nice wreath for like maybe a nursing home or a child at dorm. So I don't know that a wreath on the outside of a dorm door is probably what your daughter wants. Plus, it probably wouldn't stay there. Oh! My dovetail's all wonky. Wonky's my new word. Happy accident and wonky.
Our laptop is all wonky. It's time for a new. It's time for an upgrade.
The hubby says that the laptop's all wonky. Twice now we've had interrupted. That just means he's got extra work to splice the video together.
Or I'll just make you re-record it.
He just said he'd make me re-record it. That just means I can buy more ribbon.
No, you can take that apart.
I'm not gonna take that apart. If you take it apart, it'll fray.
Oh.
And this one's Lindy's. I can't
Oh,
take
that's
it.
right. That one's Lindy's.
So.
So apparently, Angela and Lynn know each other. Angela said hi to Lynn. Angela said wonky is a fabulous word. And Lynn said hi back to Angela, waiting patiently on her kit. Should have it tomorrow.
Oh, from Angela? Cool. I know Kimberly knows Angela too. She's part of our group, right, Angela? Let's see. Woo! I lost it. Let's stick it back in. It's all good. See, now if you did this, can you see the side of it? It's kind of a thinner wreath, which is what I like because not everybody likes, 12 inches of poofness sticking up off their wall. So could you imagine doing it on an elevated wreath form? Some of those get kind of, I know Laura Jean, hers are big. Okay. So make our tulip. Now, I have some gnomes in the next room. And if this wasn't...
You can't get to.
I can't get to him because he's sitting in my doorway. I bought from Sims Pottery. So everything on here is from Craft Outlet. I think that's from Craft Outlet, but I bought it earlier in the year. I just started making wreaths in March. Most times I buy stuff from Craft Outlet, White Bayou, and the Wreath Shop. A couple things from I bought from Deco Exchange before. I found one roll of this ribbon. So if anybody is set on having a kit with this ribbon here, I just think it's got just a little bit of sparkle. I have one roll of it and I have another roll coming. So it's not the traditional kit that I am offering. But if you send me a message and say, I want the original kit. Now I can't find the gray. This gray here, can't find it. So I found another diagonal. It's got a little bit bigger of a box and it's gray and white. I think it'll still look fabulous. If you want something different than what I offered, just PM me. Message me, PM me, holler at me, yodel at me, and I'll hook you up. So the kits are $47. That includes 6 yards of ribbon to make a bow. Everything will be in about a week. I'm going to mail them out. You will get everything you need to make your wreath. I'm making sure I'm not having another happy accident, because I think I'm about to. Yep. Hey, at least I'm catching myself. So I am very amendable. I'm not a pushover, but I am very amendable. If you like the ribbons, if you like this red, I have a couple that I can do with that red. Whoever gets to me first. Sometimes I think we should do the inside first, so you can find your ties. But then it's hard to find the outside one, so it's a crapshoot. Hear my son's cat. It's worse than a kid. My son come out of his room and meow, 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 like, where are you going? I like Kara from Kara's Creation. She's got an English bulldog or something? And he comes and he snores. It's so funny. She's like, I'm so sorry. Now right here, I didn't pay attention to what I was doing, and I got a little wonky. So that's why you leave your ties about 1/4 inch taller. So I can just pull on that a little bit. And then have enough. Might have to get my pliers, but you have enough pipe cleaner that you can do it back. Ouch. And not poke yourself. There we go, that's better. So make your tulips. I didn't get to make very many spring things because I started, kind of March, but the COVID hit like really bad, and everybody was like, what do we do? So I kind of like hesitated before I bought any more stuff. If you need, check how many more pipe cleaners you need, just flip it over. So I got one empty there. I got one empty there. Got one empty there. And don't there. Oh! So red on bottom, red on bottom. Oh, we're good. I want to make a pink Christmas wreath, candy wreath. This one, it's a mother-daughter. I can't remember where they're from. But her mom and her made this humongous evergreen candy wreath. Huge! And she had like the yarn balls where they make the lollipops, and she had stuff from like Craft Outlet, and she had Christmas bulbs. Girl, I can't wait till Christmas after Walmart. I didn't have all those bulbs bought after Christmas because I wasn't making wreaths. Okay, find my tie again. There it is. It's hiding because it's red. I like to match my ties to my.
I think you had a happy accident.
Well, we got a happy.
Ribbon.
Christmas?
No, on this side, all you have is two red.
It got caught. It's down there.
Okay. My bad.
I might have to cut one more, but it's not Jeanette's live if you don't have happy accidents. It's just not me. Things don't go wrong. It's not my life. It's not my life. What are you talking about? So those of you that know, my foot was operated on. Doing pretty good. Had to go have it scraped out and stitches out a week early, but yeah, it's not too bad. I can walk on it now pretty good. My husband's always yelling at me, sit down, sit down. You're gonna be hurting. Okay, so now we got this one. Yeah, two more over here. Gray on bottom. Ruh-roh. Did I put too many ties in it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No. That roll was short. I cut the whole stinking row. But you know what? We will get through it. Both rolls. That's weird. I'll have nothing on the floor, do I?
No.
That one's first. Cut the whole roll. 10 or 20 inches, you're supposed to come up with 18. Supposed to. short. Am I short a Christmas one too? Yep. Good thing I got some more, huh? And then we're short one, and then I'm gonna cut a couple extra just to go in the middle. That's one of the reasons I put a crossbar, or I was taught to put them in the crossbar, is to keep something underneath your sign or your bow or whatever it is that you're gonna put underneath or on top, so it doesn't sink down into the middle of your wreath. You know, sometimes you just don't know what you're going to put, you know, all over your wreath until you start centering it and putting everything everywhere. So, my trusty little boards. My husband used to work in a wood shop, and he brought home all these little boards. And one day I just said, oh, those would make excellent weights. Especially when you're doing 10 inches and you can just roll it out and go zip, zip, zip. I make 3 at a time and you're golden. So I made mine 20, 10, 20, here's one. We'll cut 2 extras to put in the middle. You know, and really when we have accidents when we do our lives, I don't get upset about it because really it's stuff that happens in real life. So if it's happened to me or, you know, bigger people like Lori from Hardworking Mom or Laura Jean, you know, we want to know how to, you know, we should be able to tell you how to circumvent that or what you do when that happens. Now, if I hadn't had the exact mesh that goes in there, that might have been another story. So, it should be right there. It should be red on bottom. So I kind of like when, like, I won't say I like it when oopses happen, but when little things like that happen, it's kind of a teaching opportunity for especially someone who's new. When I first started making wreaths, I just wanted to make something to have around the house. And then I got to watching YouTubes and seeing, and then I saw people selling, and actually I was showing someone on my phone at work, and they're like, you made that? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, can you make me one too? So that's kind of how everything started, was coworkers started buying my wreaths, and we started checking into the Etsy, and, you know, I sell them on Facebook, I sell them locally. I actually sell a lot more wreaths locally than I do on Etsy. That's okay. So, no matter what I do, so here's another example. Here's my last tie. So no matter what I do, whether I put this one here or that one there, it should not be the same though. So, no Christmas, no Christmas. Oh, Christmas. Okay. I'm going to put this one in here and then I'm going to fix it. Because that one's going to, that happy accident's going to take me a little while to fix since I chopped off all the ties. It's another reason to not chop them off until the very end, but I was trying to do them as I went. Because if I don't do them right away, sometimes I miss them because they blend into the mesh. And then you feel bad when your customer says, you forgot to chop off all your ties. So I'm not going to chop that one off. I'm just going to bend it under. So I did make a mistake. Over here, I got my Merry Christmas and my Merry Christmas next to each other. Because if you have an even number of ties, you should not have the same color of ribbon next to each other. But we're going to fix that. Or I'm going to fix it off camera. Because I'm not going to bore you and make you sit through that. So make our tulips. Okay? So these other two, these two are extras. And it really doesn't matter which. In fact, it doesn't even matter if you make it a ruffle or a woodland ruffle. I'm just going to do them ruffles. So those of you maybe, hopefully everybody knows, but okay, so we've been doing woodland ruffles. You know, make the rolls on the end. A ruffle is just starting at the end. And making a big round butterfly. They don't get any ribbon. There it is. Because they're just in the middle to hold up your sign or your bow or, you know, anything else. So it's just a filler. Most of the time it's all covered up anyway. So I just take a pipe cleaner and I cut it in half. This gray tends to want to rough or fray a little bit on me, especially because I stuck it in that Bodabra. So I just take my half pipe cleaner and I wrap it around the middle and give it a couple twists. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go straight down the middle. Fluff all this up. See? And I'm going to go straight down the middle. And I'm going to find one of my ties on the back. Stick all your other stuff up. I'm going to find one of my ties in the back. And I'm just going to attach it that way. I don't have too much to clean up back here. I left that one long just because I'll have to rotate. You always want to make sure, I don't always put a placemat or felt or canvas or anything on the back of my wreaths. I try to just make sure that all my ties are wrapped really nicely. Everything's just really nice and neat. You don't have any wires sticking up to poke someone's wreath or someone's door. So we'll just make another one. The biggest thing about ruffles is you want to make sure that you're going down the middle. If you get off to the side and get all wonky, there's my next word for a contest. It's going to be wonky. So sometimes when I sit and I'm sitting down to design signs, I'm like, oh, I haven't posted any for a couple days. You know, I'm like, oh, I've done Christmas, I've done Thanksgiving, Halloween. If you guys have an idea for a sign and I think it'll sell, you know, for more than just a few people, send me a message. Send me, say, hey, I see this sign, you know, but maybe we could do this or that. Send me a message. I'm all ears. I want to know what you want to see for your signs, not just what I like. You know, not everybody likes gnomes. I had a couple people tell me today I don't like gnomes. That's perfectly fine. I used to not like them either. They are kind of cute though. So, I got some fraying going on I'll take care of. So I kind of just take my other ruffles and stick them up where they should be. So here's our basic wreath. See how that border mesh gives some, like, I don't know, texture or whatever you want to call it. You know, I'm no interior designer or anything, but it's much better than just plain basic mesh. If you did this in plain basic mesh, it would just be kind of flat. But you have the sparkle of the metallic, and you've got little bits of foil in the border, and you've got the border. You know, they're making all kinds of different colored border mesh now. I just think it's really cool. I've even got some hot pink that I might use to make a candy wreath. So think about that when you're buying your mesh. You know, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with basic mesh. I have a whole bunch of basic mesh over here, but it's used. You have to use it in the right spot. If it's 21 inch, and I know I'm gonna cover a good majority of my wreath, and I'm just gonna have, you know, little bits and pieces sticking out, I use basic mesh for the base of my wreath. So now, I do not use the bow dabber for a bow maker. I tried it once, I just don't like it. I already have Lindy's ribbons cut. Actually, I made her bow and I took it apart and then I folded it up so I could show you guys how to make a bow. So, is this good here on camera? Okay. So, we're going to start with, we have, and this is the one that'll be in your kit. Sparkly. Then I have two other. This will be in your kit. I ordered more of that. And then we'll have a gray diagonal. Gray and white diagonal. So you'll get these two in the gray diagonal to make your bow with. But I have a couple extras since this one's a custom order. I am making 10-inch tails. I don't normally make a very long tail. Between 8 and 10 inches. So I always start, and I do a dovetail every time I start with the layer of the bow, or else you might forget. So start here, and pinch it pretty tight. I was learning, I was washing off of Scott, Design with Scott, from Design with Scott. So, and he pinches very, very tight little pleats. And I think that's where I'm having a problem getting some of my bows or my loops to lay right. When I redid that glitter one, it actually helped a lot. So we're going to make about 5.5-inch loops. So I put my finger, this is the Easy Bow Maker, the deluxe one, and it's got these measurements on here. So you can see how long you're making your loops. So I stick my finger on where I want my loop to be. I'm going about 5.5 inches, and I stick my ribbon in, and then each hand goes one way and one goes the other. You want your loop to be on the right side, and the other side to be on the wrong side, because this is where you're going to make your other loop. Okay? And then I'm still a little slower. I normally have my bows made on my lives, because I'm just still a little slower about it. So, and on the bottom, in the 2.5 inch, I always make 2 loops for your foundation. Now, I used to not be able to bring my bows or my loops out like that, and I've been practicing and watching tutorials because it's much easier when you go to fluff your bow out if your loops are where they need to be almost. Now, if I was making a really tall bow, that may not play out for me very well. So this is our last loop. So your last loop of your certain ribbon, you don't flip it. You just scrunch it, make sure this edge is flipped under, or else it won't lay right. You'll end up playing tug of war with it. And then I kind of just gauge how long my tail needs to be by the other one, and then make my dovetail. So there's our first layer. And then I'm gonna go, I had them lined up in which order I was gonna go, and then I messed up my order, so I can tell you by, it's this one. Okay. So basically we're doing the 2-1-2 method. I'm on that watching Damon off of Deco Exchange. Best thing you can do when you're learning how to make wreaths is watch other people that are better than you. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that's good. Did look like that. If you get the Easy Bow Maker, you'll have to pound your dowel in. I got my trusty little hammer in there. Okay, so you made two loops at 5.5. This is going to be one loop at 5.5. So your black and white will kind of be right in the middle when you fluff out your bow. So one loop, we just had to flip it over once. Oh, I didn't get that edge turned over. There we go. That was darn near perfect. And you can always cut, I don't like the waist ribbon a whole lot, so you can always cut your tails a little longer. Sometimes people cut their tails a little longer and then they get it on the wreath and get where they want to put it, and then decide how long they want their tails. I like to clean as you go, that way you don't have to clean up as much at the end. So we made two, and then we made one. Now we're going to make two. We're going to make this one a little bit smaller. As Scott says, about a pinky. About a pinky width. 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. Kind of depends on you, what kind of bow you're going to make. That bright sprinkly bow I showed you earlier, that'd be called a funky bow. You can also, if you know, because you lose sight of your marks, you can also, I use a clip. Sometimes, you know, once you get so much ribbon in here, it starts creeping up on you. I just put a clip there. But you can bring them up here and make sure they're the same length. I seen one lady, she laid a pair of pliers in there, and I'm like, oh, that'd work. Whatever floats your boat. Seen people use their cell phones as weights, the mouse to their computer. Okay, this is our last bow, so we're just going to scrunch. When I get up to be about this tall, when I have to move my hands, I tend to put that little clip back there, keep it all down for me. Okay, so that's all of our. So when you do 2.5 inch, you go 2-1-2, and then when you go back to the 1.5 inch, you start at 2 again. So it's basically 2-1-2, 2-1, and then however many 1.5 inch ribbons you're going to use. I used to use like 7. I watched Damon off of Deco Exchange. He used 7 ribbons all the time. So I'm like, But then my ribbon got to be like really little in the middle, and it was like all squished. I didn't like how it looked, so I stopped using so many. And that's the wonderful thing about crafting is that you do you. You do the way you want it. Or your customer. So now this one is 2
Becky
loops.
says, hey, sorry she's late.
Hey Becky, how are you? So we're gonna be about 4 1/4, 4 1/2 inches about now. So if you need to move those out of your way to see, you can. Like I said again, you can also bring your loops up. Stick your finger there.
So she's missing her boss lady really bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. My foot's doing a lot better. He like scraped it all out and ugh. Okay. So that's a good way to check to see, even though you think that you're on the right mark, hold your loops up there. Are they the same? Because no matter if you think you're on the same mark, it's a matter if your loops are the same. Because trust me, when it's done, you'll be able to notice if your loops are the wrong size. I've taken bows apart because my loops were wonky. I think Becky got me saying that word, wonky. Hey Becky, my foot's about good. I think I can go on a boat. Okay. Here's our little clip. Hold us in. Ooh, I almost snapped my finger. Okay, now we're just going to do one more ribbon. We got a... This is one of the ones that'll be in your kit. Buffalo is where it's at.
It's pretty cool. She's off Saturday.
Okay, well, let's see what we're doing. Like I have any agenda.
Oh, Lindy's here. Says, hey boss, the wreath looks amazing.
By the time you get here, it is your wreath, you know. Okay, so this is our last one. So we're going to go a pinky smaller on the last bow. We're just going to make one bow.
Becky says you gotta make stuff for her to buy.
Hey girlfriend, I got a whole wall in my living room for you to buy. Or my dining room. It's all fall. All fall and Halloween. Wait till you see the new pixie wreaths, Becky. They're so cute.
Oh, Lindy says she's been watching, but she just started a channel so she could chat.
Oh, okay. So you know I had a little accident and I gotta rearrange some ribbons. Okay, so...
Becky said, uh-oh.
Oh, it happens. So I like to use a real thin, I don't know if you can see it, a real thin zip tie. I should have another red zip tie sitting around here somewhere.
You mean a red fuzzy stick?
Fuzzy stick. My granddaughter calls them fuzzy sticks. And actually on the Walmart packages, they say fuzzy sticks. So, they're fuzzy sticks. As she comes in, every time she comes over and rings my drawer. With an extra that, I have an extra drawer that I keep all my ribbon tails because you never know when you just might need one. Okay. This is the important part. When you have a very tall bow, this isn't a real tall one, but it's tall enough. You don't want it to collapse on you because if you collapse your bow, you start over. So you get your zip tie going on. Now some people can pick their bows up and put wire around it and go to town. I cannot. So you get your fuzzy stick in there because you're going to need that to attach it to your wreath. Now we're not going to tighten it down completely because we got to move all our things. See where that indentation is? That's your wall. That is your wreath wall. And that is where you want to move over your zip tie. You want to bring down the little knobby thing to the bottom. Now we're going to tighten it just enough to make sure nobody's getting out of sort. Everybody's playing nice. See there? I'm getting a gap. You got to make them get back in line. You need to tighten it just a little bit more. So be it. So then what you want to do is you want to get all your tails, unless you're making a funky bow. You know the funky bow, you got your tails going every which way. I gotta show you something, Becky and Lindy. You know how much I like glitter. Ooh, look at that. That's so much glitter. And that's all over the house. Okay. So from the back, you want to make sure that these two are out because we want our buffalo check in the middle. Want all your ties to come down. So there's your buffalo, your two white and your buffalo. And then we got our two red. You want to pull them. See how that kind of overlapped there? I'll show you how to fix that in just a minute. So then we started our 1 1/2, and that'll be in the middle. Okay, does that all make sense? And then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to pull like the dickens. So, some people start at the bottom and fluff. So what you want to do is, I should have left that on there to hold on to. You twist it. Because now that you've put it in there, these ain't going nowhere. You want to twist them and they'll come out of that little, how they're kind of folded over. When you twist them around, they'll come out of it. So you just put your hands in there and just round them around. Because if you ship a wreath, this is the instructions I give the people. Is you put your hand in here and go like that. The twisting motion kind of makes all the little pleats in there. If there's anything bound up or kind of where it shouldn't be, puts it where it should be. See, and that one's too far up. I should have left my zip tie on there to hold on to. Helps you hold on to it a lot better. Sometimes your tails will fly up in your face. You liking it, Lindy? So then you've got wires and all your ribbon, right? Because you're doing the good job of making. It was so funny. When I first started, I bought gross grain ribbon and I would put liquid starch on it to make it stiff.
Lindy says it's beautiful.
Thank you, Lindy. So there's that part. Now, since I have to redo a couple ribbons here, I'm going to only partially attach some of her stuff. So, in your kit, you're going to get these cable mounts. Now, the cable mounts, I have found out, will come off by themselves. I put E6000 underneath of it, let it dry, and then I put my cable mounts on, and I haven't had any trouble with them. If you prefer, if you get a kit and you do not want to do that, and you want holes punched in the corners, I can do that for you. You just have to notate it in the notes. But the E6000 only works if you let it dry before you stick your cable mount down, as I found out. I was trying to use it when it was wet. It's kind of like contact cement. You gotta let it dry. Okay, so we got all those on. I tend to put 4 on, especially, oh, look at all that glitter. Especially on an 8x12. Just because they're so long and wide, you want to make sure that it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm just going to like I said, I'm just going to temporarily attach this since I have to do some doctoring. Now you don't want to pull your sign down too far like that. You just want it to set on top. Because if you pull it down too far, you're going to smush everything underneath. This is the reason that you put those ruffles in the middle, so your mesh, or so your sign has something to lay on. So I'll connect one over here. Always make sure that you either connect it to the wire frame or those ties that we did across. You don't want to connect it to like other mesh or an embellishment, because that's just not going to be secure for you. Now normally I would do a shake test for you, but I'm not going to shake this one because it's not. I want it higher. I did, he's so cute! The other one's gonna eat him up. Is he a dash hound or something? I'm not very good with dogs. Like I said, I'm just going to tighten that down just a tad. That one will get done in a minute. So we're going to put our bow on. Used to, when I first started making wreaths, I thought that all your signs had to go smack dab in the middle. And then your bow belonged at the bottom. Your bottom right-hand corner. I have learned that that's not the case. I even put one of my bows clear at the top. I probably smashed my bow, but that's okay. You can fluff it back out.
The puppy thinks he's 10 feet tall, and yes, he's a mini dachshund.
Mini dachshund. Ankle biter. So if you smash your bow, I play with my bows. I think that's the biggest pet peeve my husband has. He goes, "Why don't you just leave it alone?" I have to touch my bows right before I sell them, just to make sure that they're all nice and neat. So you could put other embellishments on it if you wanted to. Lindy didn't want anything else on it. She just wanted wanted to sign in a bow. So I'll go back through and I'll cut all the frizzy ties off and fix my little ribbon boo-boo. Does anybody have any questions? You can switch to the other camera.
Becky says he's a toe biter.
He's a toe biter. That's funny. So here's our finished wreath. Lindy, if you want, you want to message me or text me if you want to sign in a different spot of the ribbon, because I just tacked it in there because I have to move a couple things. So if you want it in one spot or the other, just let me know. I'll probably move the ribbon over a tad. I didn't want it smack dab in the middle. But I love the colors. This is my favorite sign. It's our most popular sign. We have made this one, gosh, a lot. I wrote more blanks today. I'm actually going to start making some 5x7s to go with our pixie wreaths. So stay tuned if you watched my little scarecrow wreath. That was a pixie wreath. They're nice and cute. This one's about 25 by 25. It's probably about 8 or 9 inches deep with the bow. So you are not sticking this in between doors, Lindy. Ain't happening. So, if you guys have nothing else, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so and click that little bell so you will be notified for when my next live on. We're doing a contest. As soon as we can get up to 500 subscribers, we're going to do a drawing for the, in October we wear pink, along with the ribbon that goes with it. Really cute. This is our sign, and this is Hot to Trot ribbon. Not a whole lot of places. I don't know if anybody has the pink anymore. So, if there's nothing else, anybody ever has any questions, don't feel bad to give us a PM. We're more than welcome to answer your questions. You have an idea for a sign, let us know, and we'll talk it out. So I appreciate you guys stopping by and supporting me and helping me grow my channel. So happy crafting. Bye-bye.